Hey everyone, Zach here, and welcome to Lesson 71 of this RTS tutorial series. In this video, we'll be setting up our service status check for our behavior tree. Now, I want to announce that I also have started a Patreon to help support this channel and to help it grow. If you want to help, contribute to this channel, help contribute in ways that will increase the amount of videos I can put out a week, the quality of the videos, and have a voice on what content is in future series, consider becoming a supporter on Patreon. There's a link down in the description. Now, all of that said, fire up your editors, and let's get started. Welcome back to the editor, and the first thing we are going to do in getting our unit status to actually have an effect on our behavior tree is we need to set some more statuses. So currently we only have two. So if we go to our blueprints folder and we go to our enums and go to unit status enum, let me just pin this in there real quick. You see we only have is idle and needs billeting. We're going to add two more in today. And the first one will be is fatigued, and the second one will be is hungry. All right, go ahead and save that, and that takes us through the first step. The second step now is to set up our Blackboard decorators in our behavior tree. Let's go to our AI, let's go to our behavior tree, and we're going to set up our Blackboard decorators here and here. So let's grab go to sleep, and let's right-click it. We're going to add a decorator, Blackboard. And don't worry about it overlapping. We'll fix that in a second. Click the Blackboard operator, and we're just going to rename this so it isn't overlapping. And we're going to name this as needs sleep. And this will be on value change. It will be self. The is set here will be our status, not is busy. And we are going to do, instead of is idle, is fatigued. Oops, sorry, not is fatigued, is hungry. No, is fatigued, that's all right. So is the unit fatigued? All right, we're going to repeat this process for the get food, but I'm going to first move everything over a tiny bit, so it's just a little bit easier to read all of this. Again, right-click your get food, add decorator, click the decorator, and it'll be needs food. We're going to do, again, on value change, the target is self, and our Blackboard key is status. And we want to know, is it equal to is hungry? And again, I'm just going to move this over a tiny bit. I'll end up moving a lot of these around yet again. So first thing it's going to do is it's going to check, does it need billeting? If it doesn't, then it's going to check everything else. And it'll still keep checking on a tick. Eventually, it will say, oh, the unit needs to go to sleep or it needs food, and it will select these branches, depending on which status we give it, to go and do. So, and before I actually say that, what we need to consider is what happens if both need sleep, if a unit needs both sleep and food. Now, that is something we'll take care of in a later episode, but first step, though, in good design is going to be get the basic part to work correctly. Then we'll address the other issues. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our unit status check here. And we can either go to the folder in our main window and find it, or we can be lazy and double-click this. I'm going to be lazy and double-click it. Not sure why it's wanting me to save and compile. I've made no changes, but hey, we're going to do that. All right. There we go. So our third step now is to set up our checks. And I'm actually going to do one more thing. I'm going to just add in an is busy Blackboard key check here. And I'm just going to grab the Blackboard key selector. And I'm going to expose this. There we go. That's all we wanted. It's a Boolean, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to toss this in my Blackboard key file. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to set up a custom event for our status check. So we're going to do custom event. status check. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a branch here. And this branch, we're going to check, is the unit fatigued? If it is fatigued, then we are going to create a new set of commands for it to go through, which will say go to sleep pretty much. But we'll take care of that in a later episode, most likely Monday or Friday of next week's section. But if the unit is not fatigued, then we want to check, should it be fatigued? So we're going to check, is it fatigued? No. Well, then what is its actual fatigue status? Is it fatigued? Go to sleep. So we'll take care of the go to sleep, and we'll take care of the eat food in next week. But first thing we need to do is check, is the unit fatigued? So we're going to create a new function to do that. And this will be is fatigued. It will be a pure function. And we're going to grab our status here. And we are going to get... Sorry about that. We are going to grab our status here, and we are going to get Blackboard value as enum. We are going to pull off of this because this is a byte, and we're going to convert it to the type of enum we want, which is our unit status enum. We are going to check, is this equal to is fatigued? All right, I'm just going to line all of those up now, and I'm actually going to reduce the spacing between them, and I'll reline them up again. All right. So is this true? So we're going to do a return node. Yes, I intentionally raised my voice like that. I was trying to be funny, and it did not work. I don't know why I'm not editing this out. I'm saying that as I record. All right, then we're going to plug the bool value into our return, and this will be I'm going to do the B part, is sleeping. All right, save that and compile. Let's drag that is fatigued into here. So if the unit is not yet fatigued, we need to check what its fatigue status is. And this is going to be a bit of a long, sort of repetitive process, but hey, it works. All right, so we're going to create a new function, and that will be check fatigue levels. First thing we're going to have in here is a branch. In fact, the branch is pretty much all the major part of this. Off this branch, we have this condition, and the condition will be our actual fatigue status. So get your unit reference. We have in it our get unit status, or unit stats. Sorry about that. I don't know why I said status. I've named this unit stats. We want to know, is our fatigue level greater or equal to 0.5? Sorry, I'm not sure why it's telling me to type 0.5. If it is, so if they have a fatigue level of 50% or greater, then, a 50% or less, and we don't want to do anything. We just want to return, and we're going to have a bool value here, and this bool value will be is sleeping. Or is fatigued, sorry. So, are they... I spelled that wrong. Is fatigued. There we go. So they won't be fatigued if they're under 50% fatigue. But if they are greater than 50%, then what we want to do is we want to check, are they busy? So we're going to have another branch. If they are busy. Sorry. We want to check if they're busy. So we're going to get... or create a new function to check if busy. So if we've sent them on a task to do something, we don't want them to interrupt that task only at 50%. So we're going to do check if busy. This will be a pure function. We are going to get the is busy status here. And we want to know get Blackboard value as bool. We are going to set a local variable, is busy local, based off of this. And then we're going to have a return. And in this return, we're going to pass out that return bool value. And that will be is busy. All right, let's bring this over to our fatigue check. Grab your check if busy. So if the unit is busy, then we don't want to do anything about it going to find rest. If it is not busy, then what we want to do is we want to check, and we're going to do the false first because this is a bit more important, and it will also feed into the true in a second. We want to check what their fatigue level is. So we're going to take all of this, and we're going to duplicate it over here, and we're going to check, is their fatigue level greater than or equal to 80%? So if it is not, then we don't want anything to happen. They're not going to go to sleep. But if it is greater than 80%, or it is greater than 50% and they're not busy, then we want to set their status to go to be, not to go to sleep, to be fatigued. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our status enum here, and we are going to set it. I'm just going to bring this up here, add a reroute, and plug that into the true as well. So we're going to set this to is fatigued. And then we're going to grab our status here. We are going to get it. We are going to set, if I can pull off this, we are going to set Blackboard value as enum. And the value that we are going to pass in there is our fatigued setting. Just going to add a couple of reroutes in so it's a little bit easier to see where that's going. All right. And then we are going to have our final return node, and we're going to set that to true if they're fatigued. All right, save that. I can't remember if I've mentioned this, but as I said, if you're doing this in the order which I've done it, where I'm prioritizing sleep over food, then do it the way I'm doing it. If you're doing food and sleep, then reverse everything in the steps I've done here. And I might have said, if you combine these two, you still need to prioritize one of them in this check. All of that's true. I said there might be an issue with regards to, well, if they're asleep and then they get hungry, what to happen? We're actually going to use this return value here to prevent that from happening. I forgot I actually included that in this video. If I didn't mention that, then one of the things to consider, this value here, all it's doing is it's nothing we've set anywhere else. It doesn't relate to the check fatigue levels. It doesn't relate to the is fatigued pure check. What we're going to use this for is to stop the needs food if they are fatigued. That's going to help prevent some issues, but we will probably set that up. I'm not sure we're going to actually fully set that up in this video or a later video. So let's go put this into, let's call this function into play though. So let's go back to our event graph. Let's plug our check fatigue levels in. And because I've had to do some re-recording because I made a mistake in explaining some stuff earlier, I'm a bit worried I might have to edit out some stuff. And if I have, then all I'm going to say is going to be included in the video. If not, it's just going to be a summary that of something I've already said. So the first thing we're doing is we're checking, is the unit fatigued? If it is, then we are going to have a branch up here in next week that will take care of what to do. In other words, send them to go find sleep. Which actually, it will do it on its own as well. Because what happens here is this will set that enum. With that enum set, what's going to happen is that this is going to go down here and it's going to go, oh, my status is equal to fatigued. Do this, then this. And we don't need to really worry about the true. So it's actually already taken care of. What I said we're going to take care of it next week is actually what comes off of here, because there's a lot of functions we're going to need. Say functions, a lot of tasks we are going to need to get that to work correctly. All right, so that takes care of our is fatigued checks. Now we're going to have another branch. So if this is true, we don't want anything coming off of here. We want another branch, though. And I'm just going to put a reroute in so it's lining up a little bit nicer. Where we're going to check our hunger levels. Now, again, you're going to want to reverse some of the things if you are doing hunger over fatigue. We want to know, is this not true? And we want to know, are they already hungry? So we're going to create another pure function. Just going to drag that up there and place that into there. And to make this pure function, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate the is fatigued. And it's going to be is hungry. And this will change over to is hungry. We're going to change this to is hungry. I'm saying the same thing over and over again. I'm sorry about that. All right, let's go back to our main graph here and grab the is hungry check, plug it into there. So if they are hungry and they are, let's actually just break this logic for a second. I want to do each part one at a time again, just to make sure I am explaining this in the right order. So again, just like here, if they are hungry, the AI in our behavior tree here is going, or the get status is going to select the correct branch based on our Blackboard decorator. So we don't need to worry about anything coming off the tree. Again, what would come off the tree is going to be on that on the behavior tree, and we'll take care of that next week. But we don't want this to fire if the unit is fatigued. So it's actually not a not there. We're going to need, actually it might be, sorry. Let me put that back in. All right, so I am mistaken on this. Ooh. What we want to do is, are they fatigued and are they hungry? If both are not true, then we want to run through the check. Actually, we're going to not do an and, we're going to do an or instead. That's the logic. If either one of those is true, and yes, I realize you can gain hunger while you're asleep, but I'm doing this just for simplicity's sake right now. We can make this more advanced later on, potentially. So we want to know if either of these are true, then do true. If not, then do the false. What we need to do now is do our check hunger levels. And to save ourselves some time, we're just going to duplicate our check fatigue levels. And we're going to name this check hunger levels. We are going to, let's just use the same numbers to make our life easier. Change that over to hunger. And change this over to hunger. And then change that to is hungry. And here we're just going to name this is hungry. Actually, I don't think we need this last check, or this output, but if you're doing the other version of this where hunger comes first, then you will need it to achieve the same thing. The check is busy is still correct. Now, we can't really properly test this, but what we can do is we can start an instance of the game, and I'm just going to pop it up here. And we don't really need to watch it. I just want to speed this up, though. And I'm going to go to my Blackboard tree here, and I'm just going to select a unit. And what I'm looking for, sorry, what I want to do is I want to go in here first, actually. I want to make sure, again, select a unit that this is firing. Also, I forgot to put the fatigue in there. So let's quickly add the fatigue in there. So check our fatigue levels. All right, now let's run this. Again, set a unit. I found billeting real quick. So it's getting this information. We're seeing that it's not fatigue, so it's not going to do anything in this tree because that isn't true. That's the red line. It doesn't need billeting. It doesn't need sleep, and it doesn't need food. So what we're going to do is we're going to speed this up a tiny bit, and all you're going to watch for is, does one of these eventually go true, and does it fire? So I'm going to pause the video or recording and just allow this to go off, and I'll edit it in so you see right when one of these fires off. Okay, so it should fire off any moment now. We're nearing 50% on the fatigue level of one of our units. And it's fail on the check is fatigued. Oh, it should have actually gone off. So let's add a breakpoint here real quick and see what's going on. So that's false. We're returning a false. All right, so I made a slight logic mistake here. There we go, that's fine. What we want to do is, this check is busy, we're going to use it for other things. If it's not busy, and we're going to need to do the same update to our hunger check as well. So let's just break that and put a not in there. And again, I'm going to start up a instance of the game, and I'm just going to make sure that this is all firing off. By the way, when you do the check, you're going to need to, if you want to do a full check, you're going to need to remove the is fatigue check and just put the hungry check in, if you have it in the same order as I do. Vice versa if you have hunger first. Because, remember, this check will stop once the first one goes off. All right, so, like I said, I'm going to start up an instance of the game. I'm just going to grab one of them, All right, it's now firing off all of this stuff. Lovely. With that firing off, I'm going to speed the game up. And I'm going to go back to here to watch. And I'm going to pause the video. And hopefully we won't have that issue. And when it nears 50%, we will see the actual event go off. See you in a couple of seconds. All right, so we should be hitting that fatigue check any second now, where this becomes true. There we go. That's false. I left the breakpoint in. We go to the is busy. That says to is fatigued. And if we hit resume here, oh, sorry, let's remove that breakpoint real quick, because otherwise that's going to keep happening. Let's remove that. Resume. We go here. Notice that red bar is gone, so it's now firing down this branch. Now, because we have nothing here, nothing is going to happen. So that takes us through what we need to do for this video. And in next week, what we'll do is we'll finish these branches out so that our unit, when it's fatigued, goes to where it's billeted. And we'll see them move. They might move a little bit jaggedly at first, but we'll clear that up in later videos. And they will gain back or lose fatigue. They'll gain back rest and lose fatigue levels. In subsequent videos, we'll take care of the hunger. Now, I only have a barracks building, so we're actually going to send them to the same building for food and sleep. Now, if you're doing a more of a city builder approach and you're not doing individual unit types and all of that stuff, then you might have a restaurant or something in here instead. All right, all of that said, I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and if you have, make sure to hit that like button down below. It really helps this channel out and it lets me know that I am bringing you content that you enjoy and that you find worthwhile. As always, also make sure to hit that subscribe and notify icon so you know when the next tutorial is out, even though my schedule is fairly regular on this. I try to upload at least twice a week. And, of course, as always, actually no, sorry, I have an announcement to make real quick. For those of you who haven't stayed to the end of all the videos, and I'm probably putting this announcement way too late, so I'll make one at the start of the video as well. I have a new Patreon, and if you want to help support the channel further and help, increase the production quality, help get new content out, and have a voice in what is covered, and also have, certain other benefits, check out my Patreon. You'll have your name put somewhere on the credits, either at the start or ending, depending on what level you go for. Just watched a unit fly there a moment. Now, as always, I hope to see you in the next tutorial, and I hope you have a wonderful day.